Welcome to the Ranking Revolution podcast, your go-to source for strategies and ideas for SEO, organic growth, content creation, and online business. I'm Doug Cunnington, your host. And today we're going to talk about key performance indicators, or KPIs. I came from the consulting world, the corporate world, and KPIs were immediately shoved down my throat when I showed up for orientation. So not too long ago, I was talking with a coaching client and I threw out KPIs and they stopped me and said, "What are KPIs?" And I had to explain they're key performance indicators. So today we're going to go through some of the benefits of having KPIs that you actually track. We'll talk about metrics, dashboards, how these KPIs could provide motivation. They could also be a little depressing depending on what's going on. And they could provide some insights for performance reviews, bonuses, raises, and things working with your team. So KPIs are key performance indicators, as I mentioned. And the idea is, well, it's right there in the definition. You're looking at specific metrics that help you understand how your business is performing. All right. So pretty straightforward. And a lot of you out there are running an agency, you're solo operators, you might have a fairly big team, but you may not be tracking KPIs. And when I was coming up through consulting, not that it was novel at that specific time, but there was a great interest in dashboards. And I mentioned it before. I mean, I was basically doing the job that the Bobs from Office Space were doing. And essentially, we're trying to look at complex situations and simplify them a little bit. And maybe there's a big organization, there's a lot of moving pieces, there's political stuff involved. And if you could boil it down to a dashboard, then it's very helpful for management and leadership and people that are driving the vision to make decisions because they have the data that they need that tracks, hopefully, with the actual performance that they need to track. So it provides a clear picture. And the thing is with dashboards, you can have pictures and you can have graphs and charts that show things versus looking at a spreadsheet of numbers, which could be a little bit harder to decipher and interpret. And having the data in a chart and having the spreadsheets valuable. Some people want that data just like that. And then other people want to see the pictures. Specifically, management often wants to see the pictures. So when you're thinking about working for a client, they're sort of the boss, they're sort of the executives, they are the decision makers or the people writing you the checks if you're running an agency and you're doing marketing or SEO for them. So if you could show them a dashboard, it's awesome. So one of the things you have to consider is, what do you put in your dashboard? What are some of the metrics that you're going to look at? Well, it depends on, what business you're running. If it's a sort of a pure sales organization where you have clients that you need to close, you have cold outreach that you might do. You might be tracking the number of new leads that you call and you actually have a conversation with them. That could be, one of the things that you track. Or you might be tracking like how many deals you actually close. So if you are in a sales organization, you're probably tracking both of those things. Those are pretty key. But what you get into is leading and lagging indicators. And the leading indicators often focus on the front end. So they lead and you do those up front. So those might be the sales calls. And I'm going to give some specific SEO examples just to illustrate it. So the leading indicators, you do those first, and then the lagging indicators, those are typically the results. So it typically is the performance. So it might be the revenue generated. It could be the number of deals you closed or the number of widgets that you sell. And tracking both is important because hopefully you have some sort of correlation. You have an idea of how many deals you close or what the conversion rate essentially is. So for specific examples, you might have a leading indicator for SEO is like publishing more content. And typically, if you publish more content and you're targeting the right keywords, you're going to get more traffic. And then hopefully, if you get more traffic, then you're going to sell more stuff, whatever it is. So at the end of the day, your results are tracking along, they're moving in a positive direction, but it all started with doing more of that leading indicator. Another example might be building more backlinks. So if you build high quality backlinks, you do proper PR, and you're getting links from great sources, then probably your rankings will move up, your traffic will go up, and you will, again, close more deals, you'll earn more money at the end of the day. So the lagging indicator that's most important for a business typically is that revenue number. However, there might be some intermediate steps along the way that you could track. And as I mentioned before, it is useful to track both of these things because it turns out, let's use the example of publishing more content for SEO. You publish content, but it's not like you're going to get traffic immediately after you publish it. So it might be lagging by a few months. So you might publish a lot of content and nothing happens for several weeks, a couple months, and then all of a sudden you start getting some traction, you gain a compounding effect, and you end up getting a whole lot of growth, but it's way out in the future. And this happens all over the place, and you could observe this for podcasting or YouTube or whatever kind of content you're creating. This is sort of what happens. Like there's some critical mass that you have to hit, and then growth is not intuitive. So things grow a lot more. So when you put all this together, it's great to have a clean dashboard that shows the leading and the lagging indicators and be very transparent about the timeframes as much as you know, about how long it takes for the results to propagate through the system here. And if everyone's expectations are lined up, you, the rest of your team, the client, then they'll know when to expect results. And this all comes together with the fact that if the clients see that they're getting good results from your work, they're going to keep working with you. So it's very important up front to set the right expectations, have the dashboard, have the understanding, everyone involved, you, the client, your team, for the leading and lagging indicators. And actually, I think I'll do another episode where I go a little bit deeper into leading and lagging indicators. But the whole point here is to track KPIs. And if you track KPIs in an effective way, there's a good chance your clients will be stickier. When you come in and you have a proper dashboard with KPIs, you're going to be able to show your professionalism, that you know what you're doing. And you could probably find some great templates for dashboards for SEO specifically. And then, you can add your own spin on it. So that is KPIs in a nutshell. If you have any questions out there, do let me know. And keep an eye out for the leading and lagging indicator episode, where I can go a little bit more in depth on some of those specifics. If you haven't left a review for the show, it really does help out. It helps people realize there's value in these Ranking Revolution episodes. I got some cool guests coming up, so hopefully you will check those out. And one of them is Dre from the SEO Video Podcast, or the SEO Video Show, right? So it's over on YouTube. He does have a podcast too, but we'll link up and we talk about it when we actually do the interviews. Have a great day out there, and we'll catch you on the next episode.